What's up, guys? It's Josh from Soul Studios. I'm obviously not in the studio this time. I'm actually on vacation, but right before I left, I received the Stam Audio SA4000 MK2, and this unit has the extra British transformers on the output. So I couldn't help myself. I had to run this thing through the paces, and I went ahead and shot some footage and recorded some audio examples in the studio before I left. First of all, I want to talk a little bit about my personal history with Stam. I previously have owned the SA-2A, the SA4000 MK1, which was actually the SA4000 Plus, so I had the British transformers on that one, and the SA47 mic, and the SA76, their blue stripe compressor. The main thing I want to point out about this, two things. First, Stam reached out and sent me this unit to review. So I always try to let you know whether or not I bought it on my own or whether it was given to me. This was given to me for the purpose of this review. The second main thing I want to point out is that taking this SA4000 MK2 out of the box, I immediately noticed a dramatic increase in build quality. Now, that's not to say that all the previous units that I tried had any particular issues, but not just with Stam, but other companies that are making affordable clones. Sometimes when you get it, you know, you might need to tighten up a screw here or something shook loose on the inside. It's not uncommon. You guys read the forums like I do. But we're willing to kind of put up with those things because you're getting such a great deal. I will say with this Mark II version, this is as well built as any piece of gear I've ever owned. So I really want to give props to Stam and all the team that are building this stuff. It came packaged as well as you can imagine something being packaged, bubble wrapped on the outside. It's got great weight to it. The knobs are just super high quality. The VU meter is probably, I hope it translates through the video. I'm shooting in 4K, so hopefully that comes across. The VU meter is the most gorgeous one I've seen on an SSL clone. It's just top notch all around. So anyway, just wanted to point that out before we get into the audio examples. The build quality that seems to be coming from Stam these days is absolutely top notch. So no worries there. And the one thing that I've always been pleased with is the sound. And that certainly is no exception here. So a couple of things to point out. The ratio options on the Mark II have not only increased over the Mark I, but over most of your other SSL clones. And so they have 1.5 to 1, 2 to 1, 3 to 1, 4 to 1, and 10 to 1. So that's great because actually my main 2-bus compressor is a Focusrite Red 3, which I run in 1.5 to 1. So I'm really excited to hear the Stam against that using the same ratio. The other thing that's really been increased over the Mark I version, as well as most other clones, is the amount of high-pass filter options. Now, you know, on some other clones, you may be limited to one. What you have here are a 30 Hertz, 60 Hertz, 100 Hertz, 125 Hertz, and 185 Hertz. And just to add to the versatility, they've also included a mix blend knob, which is just awesome, particularly when using it on a drum bus. I typically don't run all the drums through one main bus. I like to do a parallel drum bus. And so you could do that all within, you know, one unit here, and then also be doing all of your processing in the analog domain and not have to worry about any delay compensation issues between the dry drums and the processed drums. So one important note, the VCA cans that Stam is using here, they've changed from the Mark I, and they've changed from what you would typically find in most of the other clones. So let me just read from the site here. The SA-202C is an identical discrete reproduction of the original VCA used on every single desk from the 80s. It imparts a unique coloration and harmonic distortion, which led these desks to be recognized for two things: glue and character. Each Stam SA-202C is built in the same old fashion as the original, with a complex system to hand match the very same transistors and values. First things first, let's check out the SA4000 Mark II in action on drum bus. And for this first example, I'm just going to play a bit. I'll try to put some titles, some text on the screen to help you follow along. But this is sort of the free play section of the review. And then right after that, I will jump into the 2-bus examples. All right, let's hear it on drums. Okay, now for 2-bus. I typically will use a SSL style bus comp on the 2-bus at a 4:1 ratio with a 1 millisecond attack and auto release. It's a Andy Wallace thing I've picked up over the years. I don't typically do any high pass filtering there, so I'm going to stick to those basic settings. So let's hear it on the 2-bus.
Slow down and breathe in, 'cause I know it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Okay, lastly, I want to use a drum and bass stem so that we can adjust the high pass filter. I will go through every setting that's available there and just see how it affects the signal. All right, let's check it out. Alright guys, there is the SA-4000 MK2 in action. I hope you enjoy the examples. I hope you find it useful to be somewhat informative of whether or not you would like to try it out for your own studio. Again, with all these reviews though, I'm just trying to give you information. I can't decide if it's the right fit for you or not, but I will say again, top-notch build quality. I've always loved the sound of every Stam piece that I've ever tried. So the only thing that's left now is the weight. So if the weight is still an issue for you, I would just say go into it with no expectations, place your pre-order, and then when it's time, it's time. If you don't have the patience for that, the only other thing I'd recommend is to follow Stam Audio on Facebook. Occasionally there will be a B-stock unit that will come up for sale and you can order it immediately. So that's one other way to get it a bit quicker if you're like me and maybe you don't have the patience for the typical pre-order route. Thank you Josh and everybody at Stam for sending me this unit. I really appreciate it. I'm happy to review it for you. Congratulations on making such an excellent piece of gear. What I'd like to do when I get back is maybe run this against the plug-in options out there, because I know a lot of you guys that are interested in maybe trying a piece of Stam Audio gear would be coming from the plug-in world. And so if you're interested in that, just leave me a comment and let me know if it'd be worthwhile to make that video just to run it against, you know, the SSL plugins, maybe the Steven Slate, FG Gray, any of the other top contenders. But I will say, if you are planning on adding hardware into your setup and you're moving away from being all in the box, I think the 2 bus compressor is the perfect place to start. And my philosophy on that is that you start adding hardware pieces that affect the most things in your mix. And since everything is running through your 2 bus, I think it's the perfect place to start. So if you're in the market for an SSL clone, be sure to check this one out. Before you go, if you will, subscribe. I've got some more reviews coming up. I'm in talks with Stam to do some other pieces, as well as Iron Age Audio Works, their V2 equalizer. Really excited to check that out. So subscribe, ring the bell, like this video. As always, it's very much appreciated. All right, until next time, guys, take care.